what was a morpheme, and then uh, how these words have evolved by inflectional words. We had the derivational words. We had words of compound words, they then with suffix and prefixes added to it, how the vocabulary grew. So entire previous chapter we were one second. And it was all about words. Okay, so from the tiny structures of phonemic and phonemes, and we've moved on to morphology, the structure of a word and what makes a word a word. Okay, what is it called? Basically a morph, and how adding a prefix and suffixes, and how there was different ways, like we had acronyms, we had blending, we had conversion, we had seen reduplication of words, and synonyms, where you meant like too many words for one single meaning, like the words which were taken from various other languages continue to remain, and but maybe a little variation of the degrees of meanings. Okay, then we had denotation and connotations and so on. And then after this, next thing we are going to look into it is the words, after evolving, after being added to the vocabulary of English language, did they remain the same? I mean, did they remain, did they continue to be known with the same kind of a meaning, or did the meaning change? That is what we are going to look in this session. Okay, let me just share the screen. Then again, we will talk about the change of meaning. Okay. Now, when I say the change of meaning, what does it mean for you? What do you get? I mean, when I say change of meaning, what comes to your mind? Yes.
Ma'am, any changes in the meaning of the given word?
Okay. Yes. So you think the meanings of the words have changed, or they remain the same when you look at the old Anglo-Saxon word and now the contemporary word? You feel they're one and the same? Some of the words, not all, of course. You think they are, I mean, they still mean the same, what it was earlier?
It changed.
They have changed. Yes. So you will really be surprised to know the word, the meaning of the word genius. Now, what is genius? What do you mean by genius in your terms now at present? Yeah, somebody
Intelligent.
very
Ma'am,
Quality.
intelligent. Yes, somebody who's very intelligent and having an innate talent, and who's kind of a gifted child, or kind of, we call it as genius. But if you actually look at the meaning, which was I think in Macbeth we come across this. She says of Banquo as, under him my genius is rebuked. Okay, she says this word, and what exactly she meant? I mean, in the modern sense of, you know, unusually great intelligence is the modern sense. Okay, but actually, what it is, it's an the spirit that is assigned to each individual as a guardian. So that is the meaning of the word genius. That is, uh, the Latin word it is, in fact, and it says that the every individual is born with the kind of a spirit, or taken care by the god, as a guardian. So somebody who's been born with this kind of a guardianship of the spirit or the god It is called, they are called as genius. Okay. So the spirit that is assigned to each individual as a guardian. That's actually the meaning of this. And but now if you look at it, the genius has changed. Okay, one more example I'd like to give you. If you have seen a communion service, like, you know, you will have a prayer where it starts with, prevent us, O Lord, in all our doings. Okay. Now, if you look at this prevent, now what is the meaning of prevent?
To stop from.
Exactly. Now look at this, prevent us. Now, if you take the present meaning, it gives a completely a wrong meaning to it. Prevent us, oh Lord, in all our doings. You know, stop us from doing in all our doings. Stop us from doing taking up all our doings or something like that. No, it is not so. So the meaning, if you look at it, prevent, it means that go before. It means go before us. Lord, make sure you lead us. What does it mean? A Lord or a God going before us means we follow the God, or God is leading us. So prevent, look at the word, how it changed. Now it says you stop somebody, you obstruct somebody, you prohibit somebody from doing something. So that is prevent. Okay. But earlier, look at the meaning, how, I mean, there's a kind of a drastic difference, isn't it? Yeah. Here, the prevent in the olden times, it means go before. Okay. Go before us. That means please lead us in whatever we do. God, your presence to be felt in whatever we do. That means that. Okay. Now look at it. It's exactly the opposite meaning of it, isn't it? There are, in fact, some more meanings given. I'll just.
Even the word gay, madam.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah. And I think even guy. Yeah. You know, it's actually a name of a villain actually, but then now every other person, you know, just your friends, you call them, hey guys, isn't it? Because he's a man who conspired to blow up Parliament, Guy Faulkner. Okay, and that's you know, and people would burn his effigy for this kind of an act of blowing up the thing. He planned to, of course, that's a different thing. Whether he could succeed or not, that's a different thing. But he's supposed to be a bad man, a Guy Faulkner. But then now, what do you mean by Guy? Guy, every other person is called guys. Okay. And then we also have a few examples I'll tell you. Another one is like, you know, you have this silly. Okay. Now, silly is something which is absolutely kind of, you know, foolish kind of a thing, isn't it? Silly. It sounds silly. What does it mean? Something which is, yeah, foolish. Something very foolish or not worthy of it. Okay, that is called silly. But what was it in the earlier times? It referred to things worthy or blessed. Okay, look at the change of meaning, a complete difference, right? There's another word called nice. What is nice? It's a compliment today, isn't it? Nice is a compliment. But what about those days? It meant silly, foolish, simple. Nice was nothing but silly, being foolish, simple. But now it's a compliment. Okay? Right. And then so according to the again, you have this meat, any kind of food for that matter was called meat. But then now, I mean, initially meat could encompass even fruits, vegetables, grains, or any other kind of a food item. But now what is it? It's been narrowed down, isn't it? It's become the flesh of an animal, isn't it? Right. So now we will see the change of meaning, how it occurred in different ways. Okay, not just in one method. There are different methods. One was generalization. That is, please try to understand what generalization is. A word which was very specific, being used only for that context and that situation, has been generalized. it just became a general word, which was very specific, had become a general word. Now, as I told you, nice, okay, which meant ignorant, foolish, simple. What has it become now? Yeah, it's become something like kind of a pleasing, pleasantness, kindness, or an agreeableness in various contexts. Okay, one more example I'd like to give you about generalization. Like journey. Okay, one more word, pipe. What is a pipe those days? In general, in specifically, pipe was nothing but it was meant a musical instrument, specifically a musical instrument. Then, as it underwent a kind of a generalization in change of its meaning, what has it become now? Pipe? Yeah, please.
Ma'am, a kind of tool for the passage of water.
Yes, not just that. Now think of a pipe, you'll get several other examples. Pipe, a cigar pipe, okay? Now a pipe, a water pipe, right? There are so many others. So now you see one pipe, which was supposed to be a musical instrument, became a generalized term. Now you are getting a point of generalization, how the meaning changed in generalization. Yeah, same thing happened with companion and comrade. Companion is somebody who eats bread with another person, somebody sitting with another person, a colleague or a friend, and kind of, starts living along with him is called a companion. And please remember, the one who eats bread with another, bread in the sense takes food. Okay, only that person is called a companion, who lives and kind of for continuously living with somebody and having his food is kind of staying with somebody. It's a companion. But now the meaning has been generalized. Okay, anybody who's associated with somebody, you say my companion, isn't it? Comrade, again, one who shares a room. Yeah, comrade has got a comrade. Now it's been completely changed. Okay, now, okay, these are some of the examples of generalization. Okay, that was one method where one word which was so specific has been generalized. Now coming to specialization. What is specialization? Again, you please take it just the opposite of generalization. Clear? Where the word which was so general, it was a general term, became specific. That's called specialization. A type of restriction of meaning. The meaning has been restricted. Now, the word which originally had a wide meaning comes to be used later in a narrower or specialized meaning. Now, for example, stench and stink, which meant pleasant and unpleasant smells. Okay. Now it describes only unpleasant smells. You agree? Yeah?
Ma'am, yes.
Yes. And, anything which is stinking, which is of a foul smell and a dirty smell, we call it a stench or stink. Now, next, coming to meat. Meat is, again, I gave you an example. Meat was anything on the earth, any food. Like vegetables or fruits or kind of stuff which was called as meat, which was so general in term, turned out to be very specific. It started attaining its meaning associated with one specific food, that is the flesh food. Okay, it was being restricted to flesh food. Got it? And similarly, you also have another example I'd like to tell you. Deer. You know that heron, deer, the animal, which actually meant, so why does it fall into specialization category? Because now we know deer means that's only the heron or that, what do you call in Telugu? Jimka or lady? Huh? That's a deer. Okay.
Yes.
That's a specialized word given to that animal. But do you know what this word meant in the olden meaning? It meant any wild animal would be known as a deer. Any wild animal. But now, one particular species of animal is called a deer. So that is called specialization. So from general to specific, it comes under specialization. And from from specific to general, it comes under generalization. Please try to understand these points. Okay. Right. Then
Yes,
moving
ma'am.
on to another method. Okay. Now that is called polarization. Now polarization in language refers to the process where a word or term acquires contrasting or opposing meaning depending on the context or perspective. Now liberal, it referred to a political ideology emphasizing individual rights and social reform. In contemporary discourse, it has polarized to represent both progressive openness and, from another perspective, excessive permissiveness and impracticality. Okay, being, completely liberal, being totally freeness, openness. Okay, and okay, now another word I'll give you something for polarization. For example, another word, harbor. Okay, harbor, which actually meant harbor is nothing but to give shelter to anyone. But now what does it mean? It has a very sinister sense. Okay. For example, harboring an evil person, harboring an evil thought. Okay. Kind of, you give shelter to anyone in a nice way was a harbor. Okay, I'm just pronouncing the word in this manner. Harbor, harbor. Okay, harbor. Right? But then to give shelter to anyone in a very nice manner. But then now it has changed into a totally different thing where you harbor an evil person or harbor an evil thought and so on. Got it? All of you? Now next.
Ma'am, what does port mean, ma'am?
Amma.
Harbor means port also.
That's a noun. Okay, that's a noun. But here we are talking about the verb. Okay, giving shelter to somebody, right? That's a noun. Just like park, harbor is also a port. You are right, ma. Okay, it's a seaport. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good.
Thank you.
Polysemy. Yeah. So polysemy is again, which is a fascinating linguistic phenomenon where a single word can have multiple meanings. Okay. I'll give you one example for the polysemy. Run. Okay. It can refer to moving. Polysemic. Poly means many. And right. So it's like, property of a word having more than one meaning. When I say run, quickly you move on your foot, or you run a program on a computer, or you even have a streak of bad luck. Okay. Next. Light. Now there are two words in this. Light. Yeah, what is light? Something which has, okay, a type of bulb, light. Okay. Light also means not very heavy. Okay. So look at these words. So many meanings for the same thing. Now coming to bank. Yeah. What is bank? Here you can, I think, give some word as an example. Can you please tell me? Polysemic is what?
Ma'am, an example of polysemic word might also be play.
Exactly. Yes. The other day you told me, you remember in one of my sessions, you said, ma'am, homophones and, they have same pronunciation, same spelling, but mean different, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. A bank can refer to a financial institution, the edge of a river. Okay. Now coming to another one. Okay, another example I'd like to give you. Board. B-O-A-R-D.
Like boarding a bus or a blackboard.
So if you, very good, or a board of members. So what is polysemic? A polysemic is a word having more than one meaning.
Multiple meanings.
Very good. Multiple meanings. Very good.
Ma'am, does that mean few words sometimes can act as noun or sometimes as a verb?
Yeah, of course, of course. Very correct. Very correct. Yes, true. I mean, they don't act like, I mean, the words like, they are different. I mean, one single word has different meanings to it. Got it?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Yeah. Right. Next, we move on to collocations. What are collocations?
you. They are the combination of words.
And please remember that always appear together in that manner only. Co-location, together, both of the words together, okay, are combined, and that frequently appear together. And these pairings are often natural, idiomatic, making language sound more natural and fluent. For example, you say strong coffee, okay, or you say heavy rain, make a decision or take a decision, catch a cold, you catch a cold, okay. And you also say we deliver a lecture. We don't say, we say a lecture, isn't it? We deliver a lecture or a speech, we deliver a sermon, we deliver a lecture, isn't it? And again, will you call this right if I say he delivered a good lesson?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
No, ma'am.
Am
No,
I
ma'am.
delivering a good lesson? No. I mean, I can say he taught a lesson, he teaches a good lesson or something. Teaching and, delivering is different. So delivering always co-locates with lecture, speech, and sermons and not with lesson. Okay. So then again, we talk about the inmates of a house, hostel, or hospital. But we never use this inmates sitting in a vehicle, do we? Now, people traveling in a vehicle, do we say inmates of a vehicle?
No.
No, we say inmates of a house or a hostel or an hospital. But instead, if supposing there are 4 members traveling in a car, do we say inmates? Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Yes. So this is how collocation, it's a matter of convention. Okay, how it has to be used actually. Okay, combine the words as it is, and I think you will get a hang of it, or hold on these kind of collocations by frequently using them together. Okay, next, moving on to common heavy traffic. It's a phrase, of course, but it is a collocation. Heavy traffic. We don't say huge traffic, isn't it? Please remember, yeah, heavy traffic. Strong winds, bright future, deep sleep. Okay, these are some of the collocations we use.
And we can say textbook, workbooks also.
Textbook, workbook.
They are
No. Listen. They are compound words.
okay.
Collocations are, you use it in a sentence. Oh, you have a very bright future. Now you're trying to say somebody compliments somebody, that someone has a bright future. So instead of bright, can I use, oh, you have a very big future? Can I use that big future then?
No.
No, it has to be bright future. See, please don't get confused between compound words and collocations.
Beautiful flower.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, it's such a beautiful flower. We will not say, hey, it's a, any other word for beautiful? It's a, oh, okay. We can say pretty flower, good flower.
Pretty,
Oh, no, good, pretty, cute. All this can go. Okay. But instead
dreams.
of
Also sweet
dreams, very good. You say sweet dreams. Okay. And deep sleep. Okay. So,
Sweetheart.
oh, yeah. Okay, so these are some of the collocations. Please don't get confused between collocations and compound words. Okay. Then we have idioms. You all know the difference between an idiom and a proverb.
Yes, ma'am.
So idiom is a group of words whose meaning is different from the meanings of the individual words. Now, group
Yes.
of words, right? Now, if you take one word from the group of words, they actually mean something else. As in group, they mean something, and individually, they mean something. Now, tell me the difference between a proverb and an idiom.
Ma'am, can I give an example for
Please,
an
please,
idiom?
please.
To burn the midnight oil.
Okay. Very good. What about the proverb?
Um, a stitch in time saves nine.
Very good. Now, if you look at the difference here, idioms may or may not contain a kind of a knowledgeable thing. I mean, you try to convey a message which is quite knowledgeable when you look at this proverb. Proverbs are like, you get some meaningful bits of knowledge from that proverb. A stitch in time saves nine. What is it? Yeah, no procrastination. Do not postpone your things. What? It means that stitch in time, when there you have to stitch a thing for just with one or two, you can finish it, but you still wait till the thing becomes so huge that it takes almost 9 stitches to complete it. Yeah, procrastination. Do not postpone things. It has some message. So that's a proverb. But an idiom doesn't have anything as such, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, for example, pull someone's leg. Do you really literally want to pull the leg of somebody so that he
No.
can fall down? What does it mean?
That
Pulling
means
somebody's leg? Huh?
Teasing, ma'am.
Like a prank.
Yes, very good. You make fun of somebody, you tease. Yeah, you pull someone's leg. But literally, now for example, if I just take one word from it, leg, pull someone's leg. If I say pull and leg and take the meaning of it, does it really, show what exactly I'm trying to mean? No. Literally, if you pull out the words and see the meaning of it, it doesn't go with what exactly we want to say with the complete phrase, isn't it? Okay. Another phrase I'd like to tell you here, an idiom, sorry. Pull a rabbit out of the hat. What does it mean? Yeah. Pull a rabbit out of the hat. Of course, magicians do this.
Take out any. Take out anything from inside.
Okay. I'll put it this way. You
got a solution.
oh, wow. Solution to a problem. Suddenly you produce something as a solution to a problem. Okay. This is how it is. Right. Now, for example, again, another point I would like to say, kick the bucket. What does it mean? Kick the bucket.
Dice.
Somebody, die. Do you know there's a story for this kicking the bucket? Earlier, people would use this to, okay, let me not, probably to hang a noose around their neck and then, take the help of a bucket and then they kick it off when they're ready to, hang themselves. So that is why the thing has come up saying that kicking a bucket means you die. So it just relates to that kind of a statement. Okay. So, but then please listen, these are set of phrases. They are, they cannot be modified. I'll tell you, for example, kick the bucket means it is to die. Okay. And please, we cannot change it. It is unchangeable. Now, I cannot use it as a plural. And for example, there are number of people who are dead, number of people. Then I cannot say so many persons kick the buckets. Can I do that?
No,
I
ma'am.
cannot. I cannot.
No.
So
No,
it means that idioms are unchangeable. There is no plural form for it. Okay. It cannot be even passivized. I cannot use the passive voice for that. I cannot say the bucket has been kicked. No, the idiom doesn't change at all. So kick the bucket goes like that only. Kick the bucket goes that way only. Okay. So what is
Madam,
it? Yeah.
madam, frying pan into flame.
Oh, yes. Yes. Very correct. Yeah. What is it? What does it mean? You tell me.
A difficult situation to very difficult situation.
Exactly. Adding fuel to,
Yeah.
to fire. You add
Fire.
more, somebody goes and keeps on, kind of, they kind of keep on complaining about you to someone who's already angry with you. They're trying to, fuel the situation more and more, making it more difficult for us, isn't it? That means that. Okay. Next. So those are idioms. Okay. Spill the beans. Some of the examples are given here. Spill the beans to reveal a secret. Kick the bucket to die. Once in a blue moon. Very rarely. We most of the time we use this once in a blue moon, isn't it? We tell our friends, hey, you are never there in the class. You come once in a blue moon, right?
Yes.
And break a leg means good luck. Yeah. Right. We are moving into block 4, the sentence. Okay, now we are into the block 4, and let me tell you, I think I'll be able to take only the words to phrases, and if possible, I'll try to take up verb. Otherwise, I will continue the same thing of unit 16, 17, and 18 along with block 5 in the next 2 classes. Okay. And please do remind me about the PPTs also. I do remember you've asked me to share it with you. So on the final day of the class, I'll share it with you. Okay. Right. Now phrases. We are into phrases, that is unit 14. Okay. Now, please remember, look at this kind of a transition from the smaller units of phonemes. We've grown into morphology, or the words, from the words along with their growth and change of meaning of the words, we have come to the phrases. Phrases are what? Now, not the word alone, we are going to talk about the group of words. Yes. So phrase is a group of words, yeah, that functions as a single unit, and they are the building blocks of sentences. You all agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So in fact, that is the basic unit of a sentence building. Okay. Now, a phrase might contain 2 words or more than 2, and it kind of forms a part of a sentence. Okay. And okay. Now, look at the thing. I've given more description about it. So phrases are a group of words that function together as a unit. And sometimes these phrases, and if you look at the difference between a phrase and a clause, whether you talk about a phrase or a clause, they all put together make into a sentence. You know that, right? A sentence comprises of a phrase and a clause. You agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah. So if you look at a sentence, and if you kind of, analyze it, you come across phrases. You have so many other things into it. You have clauses. Again, you split up the clauses. You will find subject, you find predicate. Okay. And you find determiners there. And the clause might be incomplete. It can be dependent. It can be or an independent clause. Okay. So it's like all together you group them up, it comes to a sentence. So we did not reach up to sentence level now in our sessions. It's only word and again a group of words. Okay. Now phrases can express a concept, a description, a modifier, or an action. Now phrases are essential building blocks in sentence construction. Now looking at, we are going towards a sentence. Okay. Right. Now, when you talk about a phrase, first and foremost, you should understand substitution of phrases. Okay. When you can look at a sentence and you detect a phrase in a sentence, you should be able to substitute it. I mean, you should understand how, whether it is, I mean, you should identify whether it is a phrase or not. Okay. Now, for example, the phrase, the big red ball. Okay. Now, the big red ball is in fact a thing which is describing the noun called ball. Okay. The whole thing is a phrase. The is a determiner. So big red ball, an adjective to it. Okay. And the whole thing I can substitute. That's a phrase, in fact. The big red ball is mine. Okay. Take the sentence as is mine. Okay. Or it is, or is yours, or something like that. Okay. Then if I take this phrase, I can simply use there as it. remove the whole thing. And now you see the sentence. The big red ball is mine. I will use it in the place of a phrase. What will the sentence become?
It is mine.
It is mine. We are able to substitute it. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So then it is a phrase. Okay. Now again, pronouns also can be used to substitute phrases. Please remember, referring to people, places, or things. For instance, the tall man with the blue hat is my brother. Okay. The tall man with the blue hat is my brother. This is the sentence. Okay. Now instead, I will remove the phrase and say he. He is my brother. Can I substitute it now? You tell me, is the sentence right or wrong? I'm using he as a pronoun there and substituting the tall man with the blue hat is my brother. He is my brother.
Yes,
Is
it
it
is
right or
possible.
wrong?
Right, ma'am.
Very good.
Right.
Very good. Yes. So this is an example of how you substitute a phrase. And so whether it is a noun or a pronoun or, what kind of a substitution you do it there is what matters, right? Now, categories of phrases. When you look at the categories of phrases, they are either called noun phrases or adjective phrases or verb phrases or adverb phrases. Okay, phrases can be of these many kinds, right? When I say noun phrase, what does it do? They function as nouns in a sentence. The whole phrase of a noun thing functions as a noun of a sentence. When I say adjective phrase, it functions as this phrase modifies nouns and provide more information about them. Just now you read one example, no? The big red ball. Okay, it's an adjective phrase. Yeah, where it is modifying the noun. Got my point?
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Yeah. Then coming to the verb phrase, it contains a verb and its auxiliaries indicating actions or states of being. Okay. Now I can say is very, or he is very fast. Okay. He is very, he is very quick. Something like a verb phrase. Okay. Now coming to the adverb phrases. Adverb phrases modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs providing additional detail to it. Right. Now here I would like to give you some examples of a noun phrase, verb phrase. Please remember, I am not using the word as clause. Now don't get confused between a clause and a phrase. Now we also have one unit of clause where we also have noun clause, verb clause, and the other clauses there. Now it's a phrase. And please, you should understand what a phrase is. Phrase is something, a group of words which doesn't have a verb or an action to it, isn't it? Okay. Whereas a clause has both a noun and a verb to it. Okay. Phrases are simply group of, so noun phrase, a verb phrase, and we have adjectival phrase, and then adverbial phrase. Now, one example I would like to give you. At the library, I borrowed the first Harry Potter book. Okay. This is an example of the noun phrase. The first Harry Potter book. That's an object here. It acts like an object. The whole phrase, the noun phrase, the first Harry Potter book, acts like an object here. But whereas another example which acts like a subject, my high school team, look at this, my high school team plays its first soccer game tomorrow. Now, what is it acting? The noun phrase in the first sentence acts like a
Subject.
subject. So, the noun phrase either can act like a subject or an object of a sentence. Okay. Next, the verb phrase. A verb phrase is no, in fact, let me tell you about the verb phrase probably in the next chapter only. Otherwise, it will be a confusion. When we are talking about verbs, I think we can talk about this verb phrase, but even otherwise also, let me just give you an example. A verb phrase is a combination of a main verb and its auxiliaries or helping verbs, objects or complement. Now, she is reading a book. So verb phrase is reading. Is reading is the verb phrase. It is the auxiliary verb and reading is the main verb. Together, they describe the action being performed by the subject. Okay. Then we have the adjectival phrase. Right. Adjectival phrasing is what? With chocolate icing. So it modifies the noun cake. The cake with chocolate icing was delicious is the sentence. So with chocolate icing is the adjectival phrase which modifies the noun cake, which provides more information about what kind of a cake it is. Okay. Now moving on to the adverbial phrase. She completed the project with great enthusiasm. Okay. With great enthusiasm is the adverbial phrase. So here, this is what, which is actually modifying the verb completed. Okay, hence it is an adverbial phrase. So you've all understood about the noun phrase, verb phrase, adjectival and adverbial phrase.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now we're talking about the head of a phrase. Okay, one second. So the head of a phrase, what do you mean by the head of a phrase? Okay, if you look at the entire phrase, what exactly does it mean? Okay, I mean, what does the head or the leading or the, it's a core word that gives the phrase its meaning. So it is often the most important word in the phrase. The head can be a noun, the head can be a verb, it can be an adjective or an adverb. So in a noun phrase, the head is the noun. Please remember, based on the, the head word, the phrase is given that name. If the head word is noun, it's called a noun phrase. If the head word is a verb, then it is called a verb phrase. If the head word is an adjective, it is called the adjective phrase. And if the head word is an adverb, it's called the adverb phrase. Okay. Now, for example, the noun phrase. The first example, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy frog. Okay. Now the quick brown fox, what is it doing? That's the action and that's the object. Okay, over the lazy box. Now look at this phrase, the quick brown fox. What has it been? What is the head word here? You please tell me. The is the determiner. Yeah, please. Very good. Fox is the head word. Why? Because the whole three words before the fox has been spoken about the fox. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So fox is nothing but a noun. Hence the head word is noun here. So what is the phrase here?
Noun phrase.
Very good. So in the noun phrase, the quick brown fox, the word fox is the head of the phrase. So it is the main noun that the entire phrase is about. The other words, the quick, brown are all modifiers that describe or provide additional information about the fox. Okay. She will be arriving soon. Now the verb phrase is will be arriving. Now what is the head of the verb phrase?
Arriving.
Arriving. So if it is a verb, then what is the phrase?
Verb phrase.
Will be arriving.
Very good. That's the head word.
Yes,
And
yes.
will be arriving in the verb phrase will be arriving. The word arriving is the head of the phrase. It's the main verb that the entire phrase centers around, while will and be are auxiliary verbs that modify the main verb. Okay. So that is how we kind of look into the head words of various other adjective and as well as adverbial head words also. Okay. Now, next we move on to the role of phrases in the structure of a sentence. What are the roles they kind of play in, in a sentence if you look up at? Sometimes they can be a, they act like a subject. Sometimes they act like a, an object there. So here we go. The cat under the table is sleeping soundly. What is it? It's a the cat under the table is a noun phrase. Okay. And under the table is modifying cat by specifying which cat is being referred to. Okay. I mean, it's like, we've just read about the noun phrases, what exactly they are and how they, kind of at times they act like a subject. At times they act like a verb also. Okay. Right. Spoken about a prepositional phrase. Okay. Now look at this. The cat under the table. Now this is in fact a prepositional phrase, which acts like a prepositional phrase over there and which functions within the noun phrase to provide more information about the location of the cat. Okay. And again, if you look at the verb phrase, is sleeping soundly. The single line, the cat under the table is sleeping soundly. If you break it down, it comes as noun phrase. You can even check for the prepositional phrase. You can even look up for the verb phrase in that. Is sleeping soundly? So is an auxiliary verb there and the main verb sleeping with the adverb soundly modifying the verb to describe how the cat is sleeping. So that's the function I'm trying to say about this phrases, the role of phrases. Clear? Yeah. Now let us look into the internal structure of phrases. Okay. Now here you will have, just now I told you, right, about the head of the phrase. Yeah. What is the head of the phrase? It's the main word, which is spoken about. Okay. That is called the head. Okay. Based on the head, the name of the phrase is given. If the head is a noun, it's called a noun phrase. If the head is a verb, it's a verbal phrase. Got it? Okay. And that determines this, the phrase type, and it's the main element that other words modify or expand upon. Now coming to, I'm giving you the internal structure of a phrase. Please listen carefully. Then you will also have modifiers. They provide additional information about the head word. They can be adjectives, adverbs, prepositional phrases, or even other phrases. Okay. Now, if you look at the tree diagram, another thing is they might even have a noun phrase, for example, also has determiners. Okay. Modifiers are nothing but determiners. Please remember. So what are determiners? Can you please tell me? Yeah.
Ma'am, can the determiners be
The,
articles also?
Yes, yes,
the,
yes. Yes.
a and the.
Okay, please call them as articles, no? Yeah. Right? Definite and indefinite articles. Very good. Next. Yeah.
They also can be pronouns.
Pronouns.
Class of words
Very
that
good.
form
Yeah, yeah.
class of words that form an important part.
Yes, determiners. So all the things like, which, there are 7 to 8 modifiers or, they're called as determiners. They can be articles, they can be pronouns, they can be, demonstratives, they can be possessive, possessive nouns. Yeah, yes. And yeah, they can be
Conjunctions, no?
numbers. Yes.
Conjunctions,
Yeah.
prepositions.
So these are all the demonstratives. Okay. Determiners, sorry. Determiners. Okay. So determiners are also called as modifiers. Okay. They kind of, tell you about the noun there. Right. Now, I'll just give you an idea as to what they are. Prepositions, at, by, in, on, with. Conjunctions, and, but, or, because, as. Then articles, the, and. Okay. Demonstratives, pronouns, quantifiers, intensifiers, ordinals, numerals. All these put together. Yeah. What are they called as?
Determine.
Determiners.
Exactly.
Determiners.
Yes. Okay. Right. Next. We move on to the tree diagram. Okay. Now, if you have to really, explain a sentence, this is the method. It's a visual representation and the grammatical structure of a sentence. And it shows the hierarchical relationship between words and phrases. So the top of the tree is the root. Now, which is the main. I'll also give you what they are actually called as. Okay. The top node, which is written as S, is called a mother node. What is it called?
Mother node.
Mother node. Yes. Now, because it is a mother node, can you see there are 2 branches emerging from that S called NP and BP?
Yes, ma'am.
Look into the figure. Okay. What are they called? They are called as
Daughter nodes.
daughter nodes. Okay. And please remember, everything is given in a female format only here. There is no son node. Okay. And it is mother nodes. And then those are daughter nodes. Now, if you look at NP and VP side by side, they are sister nodes. Okay. So you have a mother node, daughter nodes, and together both of them are sister nodes. That is how you kind of name them. And you draw a tree diagram or the internal structure of a phrase. Got it? Now, look at the sentence in the box. Colorless green ideas sleep furiously. If I have to mark it as a tree diagram, first and foremost, you have to start with a mother node, put it as S. What does S stand for?
Mother node.
Mother node.
No, the full form of S?
Subject.
Sentence. Sentence.
Sentence.
For sentence. Okay. The sentence is split into a noun phrase and a
Noun phrase.
verb phrase.
Verb
NP is
phrase.
noun phrase and VP is verb phrase. Okay. Then the noun phrase is again divided into, you all know noun phrase means it's a whole lot of group of words, right? Which has a noun in it. It's not just a single word. It's a group of words called noun phrase. Now that
Yes.
noun phrase again has to be split into, yeah, the adjective and a noun phrase again. Why? Because green ideas is a noun. It's again a phrase. Green ideas is a phrase. Okay. So colorless is an adjective. Then
Green
again the green ideas is a noun phrase. where green is an adjective, idea is a noun. Can you see the split over there? Are you able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now under the verb phrase, there is a verb called sleep, then the adverb as a furiously. Huh? Come on, move on to the next block. Sorry. I'll try to blow it up a little. I mean, expand it so that you all can see it clearly. Okay. Arshia Sayeda, can you please mute your mic, ma? Yeah, thank you. Now look at this figure. You have a sentence, S. What is the sentence? Can you please read it?
The man will hit the ball.
Will hit the ball.
Very
The
good.
man will hit the ball.
Yes. So you start with an S and take the whole the man as a noun phrase. Okay. The man is a noun phrase. One second. Okay. Now moving on to the verb phrase. I already told you sentence, you have to divide it into noun phrase and a verb phrase. Now, please remember, under verb phrase only, the auxiliary also will fall into it. Look at that verb phrase, the whole thing, will hit the ball, is the entire thing is a verb phrase. Now, if you split that verb phrase, will becomes an auxiliary verb, hit becomes a verb, then what is the? Determiner. It's an article. In fact, we call it a determiner. Just now I told you, what are all the determiners? Yes. Then, and the ball is the noun. Okay. So the determiner with the ball is a noun phrase. Will hit is a verb. Okay. And will is an auxiliary. Hit is a verb. Did you see the bifurcation of that? The tree diagram? Yeah. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
should be able to spot all these nodes. They are called as nodes. So to start with, sentence divided into noun phrase, verb phrase. Noun phrase again in a determiner and a noun. Then the verb phrase, verb, and again you might have an auxiliary verb and a main verb. Then you will have a determiner, and sometimes verb phrase is again divided into a verb and a noun phrase. Okay. So it is because the man will hit the ball. So the man, the ball has come twice. In between, you will have the verb phrase, will hit. That is the reason why we got a noun phrase again at the end of the block. Did you notice it? The man will hit the ball. So the man, the ball are on either side. Will hit is a verb phrase, which is in the middle. So that's how you get it. This is the tree diagram you'll show. And please practice all those examples which are given in your book. Okay. Right.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. So, okay, this verb part, I thought I'll take it up in the next session.
Madam,
Right.
we have ample of
Tell
time.
me.
You can continue.
Yeah.
Ma'am, we have more time, no?
We have time, but the thing is, yeah. The thing is, you might get confused between these clauses and verbs and so on, right? Okay. So what is this? You all know about the verbs. What is it? What kind of verbs you come across? Verbs are maybe of action, a state of being. Quickly, give me an example.
Verbs can be regular, irregular.
Okay. Yeah.
Main verbs, helping verbs.
Very good. Yeah. And sometimes they can be a state of being. Okay. Not just the action. Okay. They are static verbs also, isn't it? Right. So types of verbs, if you look at it.
Like the work we do.
Very good. Yeah. Like run, think. These are all action verbs where you can physically see the action. Whereas sometimes you cannot see their action, but you can feel it. They are
Helping
being
verbs,
verbs.
ma'am.
No. Just wait. We're not going towards the helping verbs. We are just talking about the main verbs only. Main verbs might be of action verbs or might be of the state verbs, which gives you the state of being or a condition. I mean, you feel, you think about it. Okay. So it's like physically you may not be able to see it, but you can feel it, isn't it? Such kind of verbs are called state verbs, static verbs or state verbs. So these are there. Then again, you have linking verbs. What are they?
Linking verbs.
Yeah. So they are also called as auxiliary verbs. Okay. Or the helping verbs. Then you have the modal verbs. Modal verbs are verbs which mostly for the mood of the sentence. It gives you the mood of the sentence, isn't it? Modal verbs like will, could, can, should. All these are the modal verbs. So they kind of express possibility, necessity, obligation, or ability. Right? Right. Now coming to the finite verbs. Now you know verbs are divided into two. Finite and non-finite verbs. Okay. So when I talk about the finite verbs, now this is how it is. In singular, and please remember, always there has to be a kind of a concord. There should be a subject-verb agreement. Okay. Now for a singular verb, there should be a, tell me, a singular noun. For a plural noun, there should be a plural verb. You're getting my point?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is
Yes.
called a kind of an agreement. That's also called as a subject-verb agreement or a concord. Okay. So, she walks. What is she? Tell me.
She is a pronoun.
Pronoun it's a pronoun. It is singular, plural.
Singular and also
Singular.
it is subject.
Yes. And what about walks? Is it a singular or a plural?
Plural.
Singular.
Please don't get confused.
Singular.
When you see an S next to
Okay.
walk, see an S.
Singular.
Very good. For a verb, when it is singular, you always see an S. But for a noun, when it is a plural, you see an S. You got my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
A
ma'am.
singular noun will never have an S. A singular verb always has an S. This point you please understand. Okay. So she walks. Walks is a singular. Okay. Now.
Ma'am, once again, can you explain again singular verb?
Okay. Singular verb always has an S attached to it when it goes with a singular noun. Okay.
Okay.
But now another example I'll give you. Then you'll understand it much better. The verb agrees with the singular subject she. She walks. Plural. Now, they is a plural. They walk. We don't say they walks. Do we say that?
No.
They
One
walk.
should be plural and one should be singular.
Oh, no. Both
Okay.
has to be singular. Both have to be plural. That's
Okay.
called a subject-verb agreement. Hai na betta? Now, please understand. That's a kind of an concord, an association. Singular को singular ही रहना, plural को plural ही रहना.
Okay.
दोनों में एक सिंगुलर नहीं रहना, एक प्लूरल नहीं रहना, नहीं तो एक प्लूरल है तो एक सिंगुलर नहीं रहना. दोनों में, there should be a kind of an understanding. There should be a kind of an agreement. Now, she walks. Now, both are singular. You might get confused seeing that S to the walk, that it might be a plural. You might ask me, ma'am, she walk, it has to be she walk. Walk is a plural. If she is a singular, walks is a singular. They is a plural, walk is a plural.
Yes, ma'am. For words, we add S.
Very good. For
nouns, we don't add S.
For showing what? For showing what? Singular or plural? Singular or plural? Isn't it?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please tell me.
If we are adding,
tell me.
madam, if we are adding S to the verb, it's singular.
Exactly. Exactly. And another thing I'll tell you, one more thing. There is something called I walk. Don't get confused here. There is an exceptional case. I is a singular. Then don't you get a doubt that how is it we are not saying I walks? Yeah.
No.
I walk. Okay. I is a singular, but there is an exceptional agreement between these two. For I, it is always a plural verb. I walk. Okay. Please, I'm not, see, that's the reason why I said don't get confused. It needs some time for you to digest and, kind of understand what's been told in the
It
class.
depends on
Madam, for
first person, second person.
Madam,
Yes,
for you
very
also.
correct.
Madam,
Yes. So I'm
for
not
you.
bringing, yeah. I'm not bringing in this first, second, and third person also over here. I'm just giving you a relationship of the singular and plural thing. As an, yes, even that has to be told, but it will be all the more confusion for you. There's something called first person, second person, and third person. First person, I. Second person,
He, she,
he, she. You. Third person,
they,
Madam.
very
They.
good. Very good.
He,
Okay. Ah,
He, she, it, they.
yes. Okay. You were saying something? Yeah. No, just now I heard somebody saying something. You or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody was trying to talk. I couldn't answer to that. Can you repeat it, ma?
Madam, can we
Ah,
say we talk,
yes. We.
we use, we talk on,
Please,
we
hold
talk.
on. I'll give you very good example. We is what?
Plural.
Oh,
Plural.
very good. Very good.
Uh,
We can't say
you.
talks. We talks. Do we say we
No.
talks? No,
No,
we
ma'am.
talk. We talk.
We talk.
We talk. Okay. Got it? Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes,
Yeah.
He
yes.
excuse me.
talks. She talks. He talks. Got it?
Ma'am, excuse me.
Yes.
Ma'am, shall I say an easy way to remember this?
Okay,
I mean,
please.
those who are getting confused. See,
Okay.
the word singular starts with S. So take this S and add to the verb.
Okay. Wow, wonderful.
The
My dear
anyhow,
students, take this as a, kind of a tip and a suggestion from her. Very nice.
anyhow, plural, the word plural doesn't starts with S. So don't add.
So this is associated only with the verb. Okay. What she's trying to say.
Yes, ma'am,
Very
to the
nice.
verb.
Very nice. Excellent. Okay. Now coming to the non-finite verbs. Finite verbs are action verbs, static verbs, auxiliary verbs, modal verbs. Okay. The main it's the finite verbs are divided into main verbs and helping verbs. Non-finite verbs. What are non-finite verbs? They're actually not verbs only. Okay. Getting my point? So under non-finite verbs, we have infinitives, gerunds, participles. Okay. Now they are like, a kind of a fake verbs. You read them and you kind of mistake them as verbs, which are not verbs. So they are non-finite verbs. Tell me, ma. Somebody was calling out my name. I said, ma'am, please tell me. What is it, ma? Yeah. So far we did about finite verbs. Finite verbs are main verbs and helping verbs.
Helping
Okay.
verbs.
Under helping verbs, they are auxiliary verbs, modal
model verb,
verbs. Very good. Okay. So now we have come to non-finite verbs. What are non-finite verbs? One is infinitive, one is a gerund, one is a participle. Now all these three, when they come up in the sentence, you get confused. You mistake them to be verbs actually, but they are not. Okay. Infinitives are the base form of the verb, usually preceded by to run. Now, run is a verb. When run comes with to, it is not a verb. Please remember, it's an infinitive. Okay. I love to dance. I love to dance. When I say this word, now please tell me, is there a verb here?
Dance is a verb, ma'am.
Sorry. When it comes with to, it's not a verb. That's what I'm telling you. It's an infinitive. Call it as an infinitive. I love to.
Allowed to
Love is
dance.
finite verb and
To dance is
dance is
infinitive.
non-finite verb.
Very good. Very good. So, you're getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Then, okay. Whenever you come across a base form of a verb attached with to run, to eat, to dance, or anything with to is not a verb. Now, run is a base form of a verb, isn't it? Now, I'm
Yes.
having a to attached to it. It's called an infinitive. What is it called? An infinitive. Okay. Yeah. The next, it is gerund. Gerund basically comes as a noun. Okay. It used as a noun. Running is fun. Now, you might be thinking run is a verb. Hence, running. Now, again, running, if it is connected with some other helping verb, preceded by helping verb, then it is a verb. Otherwise, if you start a sentence with this running, it's a gerund. If a base verb with ing, okay, they are the verb forms ending in ing used as nouns. Please remember, it's used as a noun. For example, dancing peacock looks to be very beautiful, looks very beautiful. Dancing peacock. Dancing peacock, it's an adjective. It is like modifying a noun peacock there, but it is not a verb. So ing to a verb form and there is no verb before that, then it is not a verb. It's a gerund. Okay. Now running is fun. Is a verb, helping verb. But running is not a verb. It's a noun there. What is fun? Running is fun. Swimming is fun. Okay. Swimming is a great exercise. Swimming is a great exercise. Swimming is not a verb with an ing. Swimming. Okay. Now again, I'll tell you an example. How can you make this as a verb? Now this is a gerund. Please. It's coming as a noun. Hence it's a gerund. Okay. But don't get confused. So a verb with an ing. But please remember, if it has some helping verb before them. Okay. Like for example, I was running towards the bus. Now this running, you should not think that ma'am told ing is added to the verb, so it's not a verb. Now what am I saying? I was running towards the bus. So what is that? Tell me, running. Before that running, what is there?
Auxiliary verb.
Very good. Excellent. Then it is a verb. Then it is not a gerund. It is a verb. And another example. She's running very fast. She's running very fast. Is running. What is is? Is running is a verb with a helping verb. Got it? All of you? Now coming to the participle. Okay. Now again, participles are also verb forms used as adjectives. The broken window. Break, broke, whatever it is, you take this as a verb, isn't it? But here, if you look at it, it is actually, you have this en at the end. The broken window. It acts like an adjective there. The verb acts like an, okay? So the running water, or the dancing peacock. Okay. Something like that, which, modifies a noun. It's a participle. Okay. And sometimes it can also come up with an ed, past participle. Okay. Danced. She danced very well. Ed, a past participle of it. And still it is a participle only, but it is not a verb. Got my point? Or if I say she has danced very well, has, then again you can take it as a past participle of a verb, but not this non-finite verb. Got it? All of you?
V3 form we can take it as.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Next. The tenses part, I think I'll start with the next class. You have the, the present, past, future. It's all related to verbs. Okay. That is how it shows about the present tense, simple present. Okay. And then you have the past and the future. Of course, there is nothing like future in English language, but still we, kind of assume usually the present and past, which is very, very important. But then, yeah. So I think from this slide onwards, I'll take it up in the next session. Is that fine? As of now, the basic part of it you've understood, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. So can I quickly have a picture of yours? Yeah, of the class. Maybe 1 or 2 people can open your videos. Can you? Don't want to? You don't want to open the videos? Nobody? Yeah, very good, Preksha. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, dear. You can close the video. Thank you so much. Right. Now, please go through the lesson. Any doubt, any clarification? Next week, we have 2 more days. Okay. So you can come up with your doubts. And on the last but one, you kindly remind me about the
PPTs.
yes, exactly. Yeah. See, unless until you read simultaneously as I am, explaining, that will be of a great help for you. You'll be able to remember it also. Otherwise, what happens? You tend to forget. I mean, immediately you need to read it, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you can leave the session, ma.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, welcome.
Ma'am, excuse me.
Yes, yes. Please tell me.
Ma'am, how can we get your contact number?
Usually I don't share it, ma. What is it basically for?
Suppose if we get any kind of doubts, when to clarify?
We are very much there on these online sessions, and even offline also. If you can come down to the university, I'm there. I'm available. If you can, maybe you can inform Madhuri madam. She'll arrange for a class again in the campus if you want me to. You have
Because
ma'am's number, isn't it? Ma'am's number?
Which ma'am?
Madhuri ma'am's number?
No, ma'am.
Or maybe your study center. You can request to have another session or a contact classes or something like that at the campus.
Because we are left with only 2 online classes, ma'am. That's why.
It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. We have a lot of material. Yeah. There's ample material for you to follow, isn't it? Don't
Yes,
feel
ma'am.
disheartened. Don't.
Because I was enjoying the way of explanation of yours.
Oh,
Thank
so
you very
sweet
much.
of you. Thank you so much, Nausheen. Am I right, Nausheen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah. Yeah. So don't worry. I'm sure you'll all do well. And even the pattern of the paper, the last day, links I'll share. Okay.
Okay, thank
Where
you
will
so
you share, ma'am?
Where do I share it? You're asking me?
Yes, ma'am.
In the chat box, the links in the chat box. I'll share it in the form of a link. Okay, in the chat box. We have a chat box here, right?
Yes,
I think
yeah.
some of them have also commented something. Right. So here I'll share it right away and then, yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Do it.
Yeah. And the pattern of the paper, of course, we'll discuss it in the class itself. Not sharing it anywhere, but just discuss it in the class itself. Okay?
Okay,
Right.
ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. It would be really helpful.
Definitely, definitely. I'll do that, ma. Yeah. Thank you. Let's disperse and
Thank
meet
you, ma'am.
again in the next class. Welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you.